Hey everyone, it's Ben from Gaming Illustrated here reviewing Combat Mission Fortress Italy for the PC. This is a war simulation game focusing on the Italian front of World War II. You can play American, German, and Italian forces. Now this is my first foray into the war simulation genre, and I must say that this game is kind of a difficult introduction for any newcomers to the genre. From the main menu, the game has a few small scenarios for you to play as. You also have the option of doing quick battles where you can select different parameters in which to fight. Some battles can actually last up to 2.5 hours if you would like them to. But I myself actually went to the campaign so I could do a tutorial to actually learn how to play the game. Normally whenever you start a mission, you'll be greeted with this screen here, which basically gives you a mission briefing and a tactical map to see what's in store for you when you begin playing. Right here is what you get when you start a mission. Usually your troops are lined out there, but there's kind of a problem I had, and that's with the tooltips. You actually don't see anything when you scroll over icons in the user interface. Mostly you only get guns and things like that. When you would expect hovering over an icon, it would explain to you what it was. Like when you go over to a soldier, it'll tell you its morale, its condition. But here you just have to read the manual for that. And this is where my biggest problem with Combat Mission Fortress Italy came around, is that to actually get anywhere, you have 200 pages worth of manual that you can read over. And part of this manual actually explains the tutorial for you. So if you want to get a complete picture of what to do in the game, you need to go back and forth between game and tutorial, which can be, somewhat frustrating to a newcomer when you would expect a tutorial mission to actually have information in the game itself, maybe a checklist or, narration to help you out, but none of that here. And actually moving is even complicated in this game. First you have to select the troops, select how you want them to move, unselect a troop, and if you want to do it again, you have to keep selecting. And then as soon as your turn is over, it'll calculate how long it takes, and then place your soldiers where they're supposed to go. A lot of times I had actually difficulty with soldiers running into each other. Now, not only is the game pretty difficult for newcomers, it isn't that pretty as well. You'll notice that all the action takes place on this floating island sort of thing where you can actually go below or under the map itself. I know that most people who play these type of games aren't in it for the graphics, but something like this just seems kind of ridiculous and almost an oversight. But I will say that the details on the soldiers and different weapons and tanks all looked pretty decent as opposed to the rest of the game, showing that, detail is important when it comes to a simulation like this. You want realism, and that game does offer it. Now, the most confusing part of this game is the fact that to actually go online and play, you have to enter the IP address for someone to connect to an online game. There's no lobby or matchmaking system, which just seems like an oversight, considering it is 2012 and most games have online. There's also a feature where you can create your own scenario, create a map, make your own parameters, which gives life for gamers who want to make any new battles for themselves. It's a nice feature, but nothing that I would ever personally use because I don't know enough about the game myself to take it anywhere. Overall, I feel that Fortress Italy just caters to an install base that's already there and doesn't make any attempt to bring in any newcomers, and is certainly not friendly to them either by having a very steep learning curve. The game looks like it would be fun for people familiar with the series, but I just couldn't recommend it if you were unfamiliar with the genre. But for the full written review, head on over to GamingIllustrated.com.